calling folks daily, but I ain't seen no spaceship land. Just mama's working doubles, daddy's praying with tired hands. And they still say go back where you came from, but half this country built by the same ones they're running from. So
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Yes, how are we doing? Welcome to Universal Spirit Center. Hello there, Margot. Thank you, I do too. You know, I love the bling bling. And welcome to everyone online. Thank you for joining us for our first of what I hope to be many Allies in Harmony. And we're blessed to have some new people here tonight with us. So let me give you a little introduction about Universal Spirit Center. We are let's see, my brain is going 55,000 miles. We are an inclusive, progressive spiritual community committed to personal and global awakening. Our center provides many activities. We are very busy here all the time. A lot of different classes, personal growth, we travel. We do a lot of things here, and we do things in the community as well. So one of the other things is great connection. We have a great community of connecting people together, and people find nice friends within our community. And so I would invite you to come back on a Sunday morning gathering, 10:30. We have great music, amazing speakers, and once again, the opportunity to hang out and meet people. And the first Sunday of the month is our potluck. Get some yummy yummies, get to sit down and hang out with people. It's really sweet. We have a half sheet that's out in the corridor that will give you more information about us. So that would be super cool. And so enjoy this evening. This is all on a love basis. There's a little basket back there also next to our QR codes if you feel called to share your love through that spiritual, beautiful thing we call money. There's the basket for it back there. So tonight, Allies in Harmony, I have to say Margot wanted to do the singing of some of these songs. And so I sat with it, and this is what I came up with. An opportunity for us to come together and sing, also to share stories about maybe when you have been an ally or when someone else has been an ally to you. This is another way, if you don't want to get out and protest or protest and this, to let your energy and your voice be heard. And if there's frustration, fear, or anger that's happening as well, this is a sacred circle to be able to express and share that. And so we have a special guest tonight. Our sweet Sophia will close us out with a beautiful presentation. So before we get to that, I'd like to do a little short prayer to anchor us in, if everyone feels comfortable with that. So let's just take a deep breath. I need one. Let's take one more deep breath. May we see one another with open hearts. May our voices become bridges. May we remember that beneath every story is our shared humanity. And may we remember that we are all one here individually to express and to be, and that difference is one of the most magnificent and beautiful things that we share. So may our hearts, our minds, our thoughts, and our words stay in love. In that, we let that fly out, and together let us say, and so it is. All right, so I have to say, getting some of these songs together, because even though some of them are chants, I still had to kind of try to remember the melody. We want justice. Some of these songs came out of Minnesota when the horrible killings took place and so many people took to the streets. But I think what I'm going to start off with first, that, that'll be fun. Let's start up, I think it's on the back page, Woke Up This Morning. Yeah, it's 2 pages. There's 2 different ones. So if you look on the, you should see, I'm sorry. That's one by itself. There should be another sheet. Yeah, it's double-sided. So do you have this at all, Pat? One that says, okay, to change your mind? Yes, and then Woke Up This Morning is right up underneath there. Everybody with me? We all together now? Okay. Woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind. All right, Rebecca Ann, come on. Set on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Let's go again. Woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. Oh, I woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. One more time, get loose with it, y'all. Woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, that feels good. That feels good. We Want Justice. This song was written out of Minnesota, and it was a choir that did this song, We Want Justice. And one of the most beautiful things about these songs is that as some of the musicians were creating them, people were learning them on the fly. And so they had over 1,400 people in the church singing this song, We Want Justice. So it goes like this. We want justice. We want justice. We want justice. We want it now. We want justice. We want justice. We want justice. We want it now. Freedom. We want freedom. We want freedom. We want freedom. We want it now. We want freedom. We want freedom. We want freedom. We want it now. Honor. We want honor. We want honor. We want honor. We want it now. We want honor. We want honor. We want honor. We want it now. Justice. We want justice. We want justice. We want justice. We want it now. One more time. We want justice. We want justice. We want justice. We want it now. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I hear somebody over here doing harmony. Is that you, Rebecca? So I wanted to kick the storytelling off, the opportunity, because that's a big part of this as well, is to be able to share your experiences and stories. So I have a story to tell that I was in Myrtle Beach, and you could feel the temperature in Myrtle Beach, that there was a lot of anger and a lot of people feeling righteous about one side or the other. And I was there to see a friend of mine who was doing a show, and I was early, so I went to this restaurant to have a little bite to eat, and I go out on the patio. There's a couple that's sitting across from me, and to know me is to know I love people, and I'll talk to anybody anywhere. So the lady says to me, "Oh, you can't sit there." And I'm thinking that she's joking. I go, "Oh, you've got the whole place booked out." And I could see instantly after I said that was not what she was talking about. So she said, "I told you, you can't sit there." And now I'm looking a little puzzled. And then she starts to speak to her partner or friend, and she's saying it loud enough for me to hear. They come here and they think they can run things and that they can do things. What we need to do is put them back in chains. That's where they need to go, back in chains. Now, I will be honest and admit what, on my part, I'd had a couple of drinks. Yeah. So hearing that did not pan well with me. I called her a name and said, "You need to be going there." So she called the manager over. She called the manager over and said, "Oh my God, she's assaulting me. She's verbally assaulting me." And the manager instantly came to me and asked me to leave. And there was a table of about 6 or 7 of my Latin brothers and sisters. They stood up and stood around me and said, "This woman came to sit down. Here is your problem." And I was so angry. And so the manager's looking at them because there was no conversation to ask what happened. Just instantly, I'm wrong. And a waitress comes in at that time who had been serving, and they were adamant that no, we'll leave. And it kind of like spread because we were outside. And the waitress came in and said, yes, they need to go. Because they'd been rude to everybody and just nasty. So the manager then turned to them because they called security. Yeah, I mean, it was really, and I was trembling inside because I'm like, this was 3 years ago. I'm like, oh my God, this is where we are. So the manager then turns to them and says, "I'm sorry, you're going to have to leave." So she takes her plate and throws it on the floor. "I'm not paying for this." And a lot of profanity came out. And he was Hispanic, and she called him a wetback. And he went to he beckoned to the security. He said, "Take her. Take her. Call the police." And they did. They called the police on her. And one of the things that he came over and apologized. And I said, "What are you apologizing for?" He said, "I'm sorry that you had that experience." I said, "I think what you should be apologizing, that you never asked what happened. You immediately said this white woman is right, and you did not ask me anything." And he looked at me and he said, "You're right. I'm so sorry." And he wanted to share his plight there in Myrtle Beach, that people now are saying things that before they once would have kept inside. They felt a freedom to be able to say it outside. And the beautiful table of all these young, wonderful people that came to my rescue, that stood there, and they stayed with me, which was, I'm getting choked up now. They stayed there with me. They walked me to my car to make sure that I was safe and that I was okay. So the power of what allies can do in our lives, when somebody stands up for you, whether they know you or not. This is the call to me that's being called forward right now, that we have to stand for something, not just be, oh, nothing's going to change. We have to stand for something. And this mic is on if someone wants to share a story. Don't get all quiet on me now. I know. All right. Well, let's breathe. I mean, sometimes they are. Let's take a breath, and we'll do a song. All right.
In 1980, I took a year off from teaching with the woman I was with, and keep it close.
Yes.
Okay. So and so we ended up in Utah, in Salt Lake City, it's called, right, where the Mormon tabernacle is. And we ended up walking. Now, it was just for the ERA, which was to me, I'm from Boulder, Colorado in those days, so I didn't know that ERA was questioned. You know, just equal rights. And we started marching, and the police came out, and they took our pictures. So we smiled, you know, like, you know, I got a year off from teaching. I can do what I want. And then we found a friend, and she was a police person. She had to put a sack over her head so that she wouldn't lose her job.
Oh.
So, and then as we marched, I mean, it was a group of allies that marched for something I consider a simple right, but we did it together. And I was very proud of the policewoman, you know. But it was sort of dramatic. She had to cover her head in order to have that march.
Let's do this song. We ain't gonna go away. We ain't gonna go away. It's on the back side of "Woke Up This Morning," and this song actually is a bit that comes from another song that was about the Epstein files. That it was a bluegrass band that did it. And so it goes like this. We ain't gonna go away, we ain't gonna go away, I'm telling you now. We ain't gonna go away, we ain't gonna go away, we ain't gonna go away, I'm telling you now. We ain't gonna go away, we ain't gonna go away, we ain't gonna go away, I'm telling you now. We ain't gonna go away, 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 I'm telling you now. We ain't gonna go away, we ain't gonna go away, we ain't gonna go away, I'm telling you now. We ain't gonna go away, we ain't gonna go away, we ain't gonna go away, I'm telling you now. We ain't gonna go away, we ain't gonna go away, we ain't gonna go away, I'm telling you now. We ain't gonna go away. One more time. We ain't gonna go away, we ain't gonna go away, I'm telling you now. We ain't gonna go away. I went down this rabbit hole of the civil rights action protest songs, and one of my favorite singers, Nina Simone, who was amazing, and she wrote this song, and this is the name of the song, Mississippi Goddamn. Now, this song talked about how it didn't feel right in Tennessee and it didn't feel right in Arkansas. But in Mississippi, they would let them swing from side to side. And she tells the story that she felt that that song was the song that really stopped her career. That the record companies, other people that, different TV shows that would have invited her on, she got blackballed in essence. And she moved to Europe. They have a few different stories about Nina Simone. A couple of them I don't care about. She did have a mental illness. I think she was bipolar. And so her extremes could be really extreme. but that was also a part of her genius. Now, this is just my own little personal story to tag on to Nina Simone. Probably about 15 years ago, at that time I was living in LA, and I was in Beverly Hills at this club where I was singing at. And I did a Nina Simone song, Feeling Good. And when I went in the bathroom afterwards, this young lady came up to me and said, you know, you made my mother proud. And at first I was like, oh, I said, because I saw the table and it was different age people. And I was like, oh, I'll come over and meet your mom. She said, no, I'm talking about Nina. I was like, girl, stop messing with me. Nina Simone? She said, yeah, that's my mother. And I was like, oh my God. She said she would have enjoyed listening to you. I said, oh, that was such a beautiful thing. And it just goes to show how when you don't follow your mind, her last concert was in LA at the Woolton Theater. And I said, I'm gonna go. And I did not go. And a month later, she made her transition. But what an amazing spirit, you know, Black, beautiful, and proud. A lot of the songs that she created, you know, the thing about music and protest and when we are up against it is that it inspires us to not only know that there will be a better day, but to remind us of our humanity, to remind us that no matter whom we're trying to be against, that everyone is a human being. Everyone matters, and you know, it's just it's an interesting thing. So I have a question to ask. Well, Rebecca, since you started it, you said my story was really heavy. I'm going to ask you to share why was it heavy for you? I got to get y'all to talk. This. No, it may have turned off. Hit that gray. It turns off automatically. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I checked. Yes, I found your story heavy. Okay. I'm in a confessional. When you were telling your story, I found myself becoming angry and wanting, I don't know that it would have played out as nicely as, well, not as nicely, but, you know, as it did. Wow. It's interesting because I'm feeling myself during these times with memories that go back and the touch. I'm very fortunate to have the Universal Spirit Center as my allies. You know, all the members as my allies. But I was thinking about another story, and this goes way back. I was an 8th grader in history, and I was 14 years old, I think. And there were, well, I went to a predominantly Mexican junior high, and my friends and I were in the classroom, and apparently we're giggling and being silly teenagers. Who knows what we were talking about? And then the teacher just shouted out and told us that we were nothing but dumb Mexicans and would never amount to anything. And I thought, wow. Well, I didn't think that then, but I think in retrospect, I said, that's the
Did you hit the mic off by chance? Yeah. Oh, it might be gone. Yeah. Can you turn it back on? All right. One second. We want to hear the rest of that story. Why don't you just tap this mic? Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to start from I'm just kidding. No, but essentially what I was saying, and I hope that what was heard and understood, was way back when, 8th grade, with my, 14-year-old friends, four of us giggling and laughing and talking, in the classroom while our history instructor was trying to teach. But the penalty or the punishment for us being giggling teenagers was for him to call us dumb Mexicans and never to amount to anything. And I thought, wow. So I know that today, I don't want any other kid to hear that kind of statement made about who they are, their person, because kids do different things with those types of words, as we all know. And so, yes, I'm going to also now admit that because of the current environment and the current administration in Washington and the divisiveness and a lot of the hate that's being promoted, it's just dredging up things. And like I said, I'm very fortunate to have come to Universal Spirit Center, and I've been taking classes and singing, joining the choir, reading books and so forth. And I know that I want to be about love. So that's what I've prayed about every day, that I am a beacon of light, love, compassion, and joy for everyone. I want to share that, and I appreciate that Universal Spirit Center is about love. It's about acknowledgement of what's going on out there, because part of, I know what bugs me, it's like chalkboard, scratching against the chalkboard, is when we do not acknowledge what's going out there in the world. When we pretend, it reminds me of dysfunctional families, family systems, where no one wants to talk about drunk dad or, whatever else is going on in the household. And for me, for my spiritual community, not this one, but for a spiritual community not to acknowledge what's going out in the world. And here, what I found and I love about Universal Spirit Center is that we are not only acknowledging it, and we're not throwing rocks, we're sending back love. We're staying in love and sending that energy out to the world, because that's what we want back. And that's what we want, peace of mind for everybody. So yes, indeed, Miss Gino, this is what your story and how it touched me. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Rebecca. Now, does someone else have a story, want to share? Don't all ask for the mic at one time. I've got millions of them. Being a traveling artist, I have definitely had some opportunity. So I was going through Oklahoma, and it was like 102 in Oklahoma. And my air conditioner went out. So I'm always like, I could fix it, I could do it, I could do it. So I go to like a rallies to try to find out what I need. And the guy says, you should go across the way. It was a truck stop there. He said, you should go over there. You may be able to find somebody that can help you. I was like, okay, great. So it's probably about 5:30 or something like that. It's not night yet, but it's getting there. So I go over there, and there's a young lady, and I tell her, like, look, my car is overheating. I'm trying to get back to Hollywood. She's like, woo, you're gonna need that fixed. I said, exactly. She said, unfortunately, we being a truck stop, we can't work on cars. She said, but I do know some mechanics here in town. She said, if you can hang out till tomorrow. And I was like, well, what I'm going to do? She said, I'll call them. So I was like, okay, there's a hotel. She said, don't go over there. There's roaches everywhere. So it was so sweet. I ended up staying in my car. The truckers brought me a sandwich and something to drink, and they took care of me. So in the morning at 8 o'clock, she's right back there. She calls mechanic. So the mechanic comes and he checks my car out, and he said, yeah, I can fix it for $600. And she said, you know, that's a doggone shame. You wouldn't want anybody to do that to your mother or to your sister. She's on the road, she's by herself, you're disgusting. And I was like, because I thought it was pricey, but I understood that, you know. So she said, let me call somebody else. So she went and called someone that worked at Napa Auto Parts. This man fixed my car out in the parking lot, did not charge me a dime, said, I have sisters and I have a mother. And I would want someone to help them out if they were. He said, now, before you get on the freeway, drive it around for a while. I want to make sure that it's working well. And for her to show up, that's again an ally. She stood up for me, for this guy that was trying to take advantage. Then here was this man that realized, like, you know, I don't need to take advantage of her. I can fix this. This is not something that, you know. So allies are everywhere in everything. And I just thought how blessed I was. He fixed it fantastically. I got back to Hollywood just in time. I had a gig the following night. So our allies are everywhere. And if, you know, for me, I always remember that I've had so many people that have stood in that space for me that it's important for me to stand there as well when I have the opportunity. So let us sing this. This song is very simple. The young lady that wrote this song, and I should have written their names down, it's just Hold On. Her neighbor was Alex Purdy. And it just touched me when she said that Alex Purdy was the young man that was shot in Minnesota trying to help. He was being an ally for someone else. And they shot this man like 8, 9 times. Talking about he had a gun, which was a cell phone. But it just goes like this. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, yeah. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. One more time. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Beautiful. And with that, we will introduce our wonderful special guest tonight. Sophia, we spoke a couple of Sundays ago, and I told her about this, and I love that she immediately said, I want to come. I want to share. I want to do. And then she sent me this beautiful story. I don't want to step on your toes, so I'm just really grateful when I feel the energy of young people that step into this light. And we do have a lot of young people that are stepping into the light, that are stepping up. So without further ado, let's give some love to Sophia.
Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Is it working? Yeah. Hello, hello. Yeah, sounds like it, huh? Yeah. Oh, a little volume. I have never needed a little volume. I think you're being very generous. Let Let me not laugh directly into the microphone. That I know is not going to sound good. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, like Gino said, a couple Sundays ago, she told me about this event, and I was so excited about it because I will say, I need a little bit of attention to my harmony when it comes to this topic. I am a fiery one. And, okay, my mom is nodding, and that's really, really rude, but true. At least you do have evidence. And it gets me in the most random times, I think, because I will make the first mistake, which is opening Facebook. Don't do that. Someone has a cute baby. Someone gets engaged. Someone from my high school that I remember when they stole their dad's truck so that they could connect their karaoke microphone because they were 5'0", and they had to road rage. So they made sure everyone knew, and they were upset when they got out of that car. But I can't, for the life of me, remember them as that girl, because the second I'm scrolling on Facebook, she's suddenly the person filling my feed with anti-Semitic, homophobic rhetoric that, well, it creates the snapshot of her that she is curating for me to read. And it makes me feel like I'm staring at the rubble of this American dream that I was told was supposed to exist. And I feel this shame and anger and grief for this place that I care about, but I also feel like is now indistinguishable in moments from things that I find abhorrent and immoral. And trying to marry those two ideas of how do I live in a place and exist in a place as an American, as evidence of systems of oppression, but also trying to be an ally at the same time, and not feel like an outsider to it all. And that's where I kind of approached, that's where I started with a lot of this. And I'm gonna be honest, I still find myself there at a lot of times, you know? But I read this memoir, and when Gino was telling me about this event, I had to tell people, I have to scream to the rooftops about this memoir by Arundhati Roy. She is a novelist out of India. If you haven't heard of her, please, I'm begging you as a book nerd, that's why I have the glasses, you can trust me on this opinion. I read this book, and when I tell you it was eye-opening for me. A little backstory on her. She grew up in India, and she wrote a Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, The God of Small Things, about her hometown. It's this love letter with fictional characters, sure, but capturing the geography of this place that had shaped her in so many different ways. And she, again, with the Pulitzer Prize and a novel that got translated and sold millions of copies, 1997, she could have gone anywhere in the world. And yet, she dedicated the next 30 years to living in India in the same small town that she was raised in, being an activist and writing to power every single day. She's an environmentalist who has spoken out against deforestation and the relocation of indigenous land. She has been an avid supporter of revolution in India. And spoken out against violent takeovers that have occurred. And I think the most dangerous to her personal safety were all of the times that she spoke out against the caste system, which is, for the majority of her life, and still is, very much perpetrated by even her own countrymen in her community. And trying to piece that apart of how that is passed down from mother to child, right? So in her memoir, I'm reading it, and it's just, yeah, you know, bomb threat to my house, you know, violent shootings outside my house after I wrote this article, but she kept coming back. And I was wondering, how did you stay? How did you stay? You know, what moved you to have such courage? A courage that I felt like I really needed to hear. And it's in the middle of the book where she talks about one moment where she succumbed to her fear. She goes to England for a 2-week vacation because of the amount of death threats that she was receiving. And the thing that she remembers about that time isn't the fear for her life. What she remembers most, and this is what she writes in the memoir, is sobbing for herself and sobbing for her country that was up in flames. She thought about the things that she had been writing about, not her personal safety being at risk. And the most important thing that I took away from it and that I really wanted to share was this idea that her anguish, her grief, her disdain almost for certain parts of the society or government, those were what made her of India. And she says that she could not have come up in any other ground, even if it was softer or easier. Her rage is just as much a part of her as any other feeling is, any of the love, any of the nostalgia, any of the memory. And suddenly I just felt like I had to put the book down. I'm going to be super honest. I had to put the book down. And in that moment, I no longer felt like a spectator. Suddenly, all of my grief and anguish and anger felt like the most American thing about me in that moment. Like, I could not experience that rage if I was a very small, 4-foot nothing, other country. You know what I mean? There's no way. I had to be a 5'8", really loud American with some audacity. I did, and I have to yell about it. And that is how I express that relationship of meaning. Because there are moments where I want to reject it all and burn it to the ground and say I'm done. But there is something really beautiful about that temptation to, instead of looking outward, looking down and thanking the physical land, which is very complicated, that relationship as a white person, but anyway. But thinking about the place that raised you and the people that raised you and watering yourself and using your own thoughts and ideas about America to be your own revolution as we move forward through these really difficult political times. These are the first tools of defense that we have against some of the rhetoric and some of the hate that's all around us. And I think it's almost a forgiveness for the amount of feelings that we might have where you get up and you don't want to get out of bed that morning. That is experiencing and processing and honoring the fact that we are kind of in a crisis. And you work through that to find what I'm hoping can be a very American solution to our very American problems. So yeah, thank you so much.
There's a proud mama right there. So does anyone else, is anyone else burning to share? That was really beautiful. And, the other thing in regard to this that I'll share is that if there were people here that felt differently, we have to be able to have a heart that's open to be a space for that. Because the anger that we throw out is the anger that we get back. But if we can hold love, really short story before we do our closing song. I was in Vons and in the tomato aisle getting some spaghetti sauce. And there was a gentleman that came in the aisle, and as I said, I'm very friendly. I speak to people a lot. And we started off talking about spaghetti sauce. And it quickly moved to politics of how, at that time, Biden was just getting ready to leave, and there was the changing of the guard. And he was spewing all of his dissatisfaction with Biden and Harris. And then he decided to ask me, well, who are you voting for? I said, I'm voting for Harris. He said, how can you do that? I said, because I get to vote and I don't like Trump. And he's like, you don't know what you're talking about. And I took a deep breath and I was like, all right, we can engage I can engage with him. I don't have to be angry with him. And I said, it's fine for you if you want to pick Trump. I said, but he lies a lot. And so he looked at me and said, you just believe what the news says. I said, the news did not say how he grabbed a woman. That wasn't the news. That was his voice. That was him. The news did not say the money that he stolen. That was no news. That was real deal stuff. I said, so, yeah, I don't want someone that has no morals. He has no morals. And so we went back and forth. I said, I'm not going to convince you, and you're not going to convince me. I said, but isn't it great to be able just to have the conversation? And so there were a couple of people that were coming up and down the aisle, and one lady was cracking me up because she kept coming back around. Finally, I said, and what do you want to say? She said, I'm for Harris too, and I agree with what you said. She said, when he first started talking, and he was still saying that, she said, I wanted to hit you. She said, but somehow I feel much easier about saying, I'm voting for Harris. Shame on you for voting for Trump. And we laughed about it, and people went on their way. And so, I was like, these things are possible. They are possible when I feel that we have love at the root of our heart. And I know sometimes for me, I want to be right. When I want to be right, I cannot hear you. You just wrong. And I'm right, and you're just wrong. And the conflict happens. But when there's love in my heart, that I don't have to agree with you, and I don't have to be afraid of you. I can come from a different space. So we'll have Allies in Harmony, not next month, but in August. We'll have it the first Wednesday. I'm wanting to do this, maybe our Racial Equality Project, which is one of the ministries here. We started that during the pandemic with George Floyd. And one of the great things about our spiritual community is that we are one of those that step into the space of recognizing our history, of recognizing the injustices, and being able to share that with each other. And now we are recognizing our allies, how through history our allies have stood and are standing in a space that helped us get to this place. And we can get from anywhere as long as we do it together. So let us sing out, We Shall Live in Peace. I changed some lyrics around here, and it's pretty cool. So it is the song that you know. So it's, we shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace one day. Oh, deep in my soul, I do believe that we will live in peace someday. And I love this next one. We shall love one another. We shall love one another. We shall love one another every day. Oh, deep in my soul, I do believe love will rule the earth one day. We shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free one day. Oh, deep in my heart, I trust in thee. We will live free one day. Yeah, I just tweaked it a little bit. Thank you for coming out to Allies in Harmony, and go on our webpage, universalspiritcenter.org. Check out our Wednesday night. Next week is a midweek meditation. It's nice to unplug. Christine Thompson, who is a practitioner here, will be creating that night. And then the following week, Reverend Angela will be here with the Awakened Heart Collective, which is always full of wonderful song, word, drumming. Thank you, Rebecca, for bringing all of I love that. I was like, I needed that. Yes, thank you for all of the added bing, bing, chinga, ching, yeah, changa, changa. And at the end of the month, Gio and Lori will be here, Divine Spirit Movement. It's really quite powerful. The crystal bowls that they use, they do the 12 chakras. It's very deep and a wonderful way to rejuvenate your spirit and yourself. So I want to thank Sophia again for saying yes. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you, our virtual community, for always being here and supporting Universal Spirit Center. I want you all to have a blessed and wonderful, wonderful night, and be well.
Yeah. They calling folks alien, but I ain't seen no spaceship land. Just mama's working double, daddy's praying with tired hands. And they still say go back where you came from, but half this country built by the same ones they running from. Saw a man in the field, sun burning his skin, hands cracked open, but he still grins. Said I came here hoping for a little more peace. Now he hide from the law just to pick your beans. Oh, ain't no alien here, just blood and bone. No soy un extraño aquí, tengo corazón. When you talk about freedom, say it loud and clear, pero dime hermano, ¿quién vive sin miedo aquí? Llorando, su papá se fue. La migra llegó sin decir por qué. Su madre rezando, temblando los pies. Solo quieren vivir sin correr otra vez. Oh, ain't no alien here, just blood and bone. No soy un extraño aquí, tengo corazón. You talk about freedom, say proud and clear, pero el amor no conoce frontera ni piel. This ain't politics, it's pain. You can't build a wall high enough to block the human heart. Different tongues, same tears, same dreams, same fears. And if love don't guide your law, then you ain't protecting nothing worth keeping. Ain't no alien here, just souls in flight. No hay extraño aquí, solo amor y luz. Yes, a land of the free, I wanna believe. Pero la libertad cuesta y muchos no pueden vivir. Ain't no alien here, just blood and bone. Solo tú y yo, tengo corazón.
to distract, but it ain't gonna work this time. There's lots of pages you'd like to redact while you're slipping with the slime. It ain't gonna go away. It ain't gonna go away. Those Epstein files gonna bite your butt, and it ain't gonna go away. You can go to Scotland, you can go play golf, you can go to war today. You can point your finger at everyone else, but it ain't gonna go away.